Good morning, beautiful people. Today, I just want to share some encouragement, a little bit of my testimony, and maybe this will help you. I will speak from, different perceptions, and probably help women in a lot of different areas dealing with marriage, divorce, engagement, different things of that nature with my testimony. So today is August 3rd, and on this day 2 years ago, I got married. And that was a long day, a fun day, a great day. It really was. I was married for a year, and in the course of that year, we went through hell. Excuse my French, but we went through hell. They say the first 5 years, if you can make it through, well, we made it through one. Today is August 3rd, 2015, and we are divorced. Our marriage lasted 1 year. And in the process of that, we definitely learned a lot about each other. We learned a lot about ourselves, most importantly. And we learned a lot about marriage. We learned about a lot about being selfless. We learned about being vulnerable. But most importantly, I think we learned that not everything is meant to be. And with our marriage, me and my ex-husband, we were the best of friends before we got married. He was a person I would go to and pray with and fast with, and any other relationships I was going through, he was that go-to person for everything. I felt that comfort with him. I can talk to him or speak to him about any and everything. My children loved him, and we were friends for 5 years before we got married. Something in me always knew that we were just friends. I always gave him the friend card. But then, you have people in your ear, and then even your own thoughts and different things, he's your husband. And so I start to believe it as well. Like, well, maybe he is my husband. We fast together, we pray together, and I was so used to a certain type of man that I dated in my past due to things that I didn't let go of. So when I began to evolve into the woman that God called me to be, I'm like, okay, Lord, well, maybe this is my husband. Keyword, maybe. I just don't feel now, and after going through everything, don't ever give yourself a maybe. That is a thought that you follow your heart, you follow your intuitions, you follow the Holy Spirit, you follow your heart, you follow what you know. And throughout the whole course of our engagement it was always a maybe. Maybe this is my husband. Maybe this is the man that God has, created me for. Maybe. There should have never been a maybe on my part. But like I said, I was used to a certain type of man, and now this was someone different. And I'm like, okay, Lord, he has a relationship with you. We fast, we pray together, and things appear to be awesome. But you cannot make yourself love someone in a manner that you don't. So that was my first fault. My first fault was saying I do or saying yes in general, knowing that without the help of God, that I would not love that man the way that a wife is supposed to love her husband. So that was my first fault. So once we got married, everyone knows, or if you don't know, my ex-husband has congested heart failure. So we were, we didn't go on a honeymoon. We went right from our reception that next weekend. We were in the hospital. He was in the hospital about a month and a half, maybe 2 months. And so that sickness and health and all of that, that's deep and that is real. There was a lot of rumors, we got divorced because I couldn't handle his health issue, and he has a child and I have children. I didn't want to be a mom to his child. It was so many rumors and so many things that took place because people wanted to be in our business, and we really wasn't saying too much. People just assumed. But none of those were the reasons. My ex-husband has had congestive heart failure for a very long time, long before I met him. And that was already on the table. I knew that. And if that was an issue for me, then that would have definitely been the red flag. Like, no, I can't. But that's not the person that I am, and I felt at that time like I said, maybe this is my husband, so his health issue was never a concern. There were many rumors that I cheated and that I was, running around and doing all of this. Never. I never stepped out on my ex-husband. That wasn't what it was about. It was just about not really loving him the way that a wife should love him. And from my part, I'm not going to speak on anything that happened on his side, because that's just not my role in my part. I'm just only going to speak on what I feel that I contributed to the divorce. And that was the biggest issue, me not loving that man the way that a wife should love her husband. And in that, even though I felt that I was this awesome wife, I cooked, I cleaned, I encouraged, we had date nights and we painted this pretty awesome picture, I was miserable inside. I would look at other marriages and other, couples and be like, feeling like I didn't have it, or I still was missing my husband. I felt like I was married, but I had a roommate. And don't get me wrong, when I took my faith, I prayed, I fasted, I cried out to God many a times. That's why it lasted the full year. And I'm like, Lord, show me, help me to love this man, Lord. Help me to be the wife that you created me to be. Lord, if this is for your glory, God, I am willing to stay, to work through this, to do whatever it is that I have to do so that you can get the glory out of this. But I just feel like, and no, God does not enjoy or like the process of divorce or someone getting divorced. But I feel personally that I was granted grace with things that happened that I won't speak about. And God knows us and he wants us to be happy. And like I said, it takes two willing participants to make a marriage work. And not only that, some things are just not meant to be. Some things are not meant to be. And sometimes we take those steps. We try to make things happen, make things work. And it's just not meant to be. If you have a child by someone, that does not mean that that's your husband. Or that, no. If you are getting abused, no. You don't have to stay. There is so many instances where you don't have to stay. Now, by all means, pray. You seek counseling and do whatever it is that you have to do before you take any other steps. But by all means, if you are hurting and if you are being abused in any kind of way, physically, emotionally, or different things like that, you seek counseling, you seek, help and prayer, and you do what it is that you need to do. Every marriage is different. Every situation is different. I do not believe in divorce. I was the person who said that my first marriage would be my last marriage. And that's another reason why I stayed as long as I did, because I was ashamed. I did not want everyone to be like, oh, you got married and got divorced, or I felt like a failure. I felt like I felt myself. Marriage, I don't take it lightly at all. And that hurt my heart that, you take responsibility for what happened. No matter who is at fault, you have to take responsibility. So I, Dominique, allowed myself to say yes and then plan a wedding, knowing that my heart wasn't fully there and that I did not love the man that the way that he was supposed to be loved, and the way that a wife is supposed to love her husband. Anybody can be a wife, anybody, but you have to learn to be that man's wife. And I never learned that. Yeah, just, not giving excuses, but just so many things. And you know it. So that was a long process, full of tears, full of pain, full of hurt. And no matter if you are in love with that person, you cherish that person, you can't stand that person, divorce feels like death. It feels like death. It feels like something being ripped apart away from you. It's just not a good feeling. And I think that's more of spiritual related. I know everyone that will watch this video is not spiritual, but divorce is a painful experience. So I would advise, do whatever you can do before you take that initial step. Pray, fast, go on dates, learn to love each other, read material together, go through counseling. Counseling is not a bad idea. Go to different sessions. Churches have it. Go to outside counseling. Don't talk to your friends. You can find some great spiritual counseling. Someone that'll give you advice as far as what the word says, or just neutral advice. But don't listen to someone that has not walked a day in your shoes. And even if they have, and tell you to divorce your husband or to divorce your wife, I don't suggest that at all. I will never suggest someone to divorce. I say pray, fast, receive counseling, take steps, evaluate yourself, evaluate things that you could be doing better or that you could do. You take every step possible before you file those papers. It's vital. You take every step possible, and then you do what your heart tells you to do and what your spirit tells you to do, because that's a decision that you have to live with. Engagement, don't say yes to that man if you know that you don't love him. You know that that's not the man that you see yourself with. You know that that's the man that you don't see yourself having children with. You know that it's just not it. Ask questions, date, be friends for a long period of time. Follow your heart. Get to know who they are, their expectations, what they want out of a family, what they want out of life, their ambitions, their goals. All of those things are so vital and so important when you are connecting and when you are becoming one. Because that's what you're doing. You're becoming one. You're allowing, especially a woman, we are allowing someone to be the head over us, to make decisions concerning us and our families and our children, to be in that submissive role. Make sure that you are choosing a husband that's worth being submissive to. So that engagement role, ladies, marriage has nothing to do with the wedding. The wedding, yes, our wedding was beautiful. We danced, we cried, we sang, we did all of that. And now where are we? Divorced. Anybody can have a beautiful wedding, but that marriage starts when you take off that dress. That marriage starts that first disagreement. The marriage starts the first time you want to say something and you have to ask God to bridle your tongue. That the marriage starts when you have those financial situations going on. The marriage starts, when you have situations with the parents of the children. Marriage is selfless. Marriage is being vulnerable. Marriage and love in general, it has nothing to do with self. It is becoming one. It is putting your wants, your needs, your desires to the side and worrying about or attending to and servicing your husband, your wife. And in return, they should be doing the same for you. So wedding, we look at that glamorous day and the dress and oh my God, he has, this beautiful ring for me. It is beyond that. It is so beyond that, okay? So beyond that. So be not cautious, but patient. Be patient, wait, ask questions, get to know each other. There is nothing wrong with waiting, being patient, and really getting to know the person. If you're going to spend your life with this person, get to know them. Divorce is a horrible feeling, a horrible experience to go through, and I don't wish it on anyone. So if you are someone that don't know if you should get divorced, you feel like divorcing that person, pray on it, fast on it, isolate yourself, spend some time with yourself, do whatever it is that you can do. I remember doing this project, the 21-day husband project. Do that. 21 days of servicing your husband, taking yourself out of the equation. Praise your husband. Do things, you know, for him. Praise him. Don't. Sometimes we focus on the negative aspects, and negative things that's going on, but praise him. Praise him. Praise the great things that he's doing. Try to take the negative and turn it into a positive. Brittle your tongue. Brittle, lady, our speech can be horrible. Brittle our tongue. But do whatever it is that you can do to try to work on your marriage. If this is someone that you love, someone that you see yourself with, don't let divorce and giving up be your first your option. And don't speak divorce. Don't speak something that I did all the time. Well, I'm gonna get a divorce. We can just get a divorce. Like, don't speak that into your marriage. Don't speak that into your marriage. Don't speak that into your marriage. Be cautious of your words. Be mindful of your words that you are releasing and that you are speaking into the atmosphere. Marriage is a union. It is a sacrifice. It is serious. And the enemy is going to do everything in his power to divide and conquer and destroy the unions that God placed and put together. Now, sometimes in our fleshly desires, we make decisions that shouldn't be, but God has the ultimate power. God can do the impossible. Nothing is too hard for him. So if your marriage is going through shambles, it is going through, difficulties, and you feel like you can't stand and it's the end, if everything in your heart and you want your marriage to work and you love that man or that woman, God is able. God is willing. You ask God but you have to do your part. You have to do what you need to do and take the necessary steps to make your marriage work. Marriage is work. Yes, you can have fun. Yes, you can do all the oohs and ahs, but marriage is work. It's a full-time commitment. It is work. So if you don't want to get your hands dirty, you don't want to roll up your sleeves, you don't want to, put yourself second, it's not your time right now. Don't say yes. Don't say I do. Wait. Get to know you more. Know yourself, your expectations, and build the person that you are. Marriage is about forgiving. Marriage is about, so much. That's why you really have to, in my opinion, have a relationship with God and love God, because that's the only way that you can really work and love someone else the way that you're supposed to, the way that God created us to, the way, you can forgive. I never understood how women, could forgive their husband after they cheated on them. But it's possible. And no, that doesn't make them a fool. It does not. People are capable of changing. Like I said, to each his own. Each situation is different. But marriage is work. It is work. Our generations before us, they together 25, 30, 40, 50 years. You think they never went through anything? You honestly believe that they never went through anything? They have went through some things, some obstacles, some traps, some, maybe some separations, but God, but love, but forgiveness, but actions, taking steps, to make what you believe in work, to live your vows. Your vows are something that you have to live. It's something that you have to put into action. It's not just words that you say. It is complete action. So I'm getting teary-eyed right now. I hope that this video has been encouraging to you. But take your time. Take your time, get to know that person. If you are married, love on your husband. Love on your wife. Forgive them. Provide them with grace. Encourage them. Speak life over them. Speak life into your marriage, into your situation. And trust that God is able. Trust that God is willing to do and work and step in on your behalf. If you're putting in the work and you're doing what you need to do. Okay? So I love you all. Be encouraged, being inspired. Love someone back to life today. And share your testimonies. What you went through, what you are going through. It may be what someone else needs to put that foot forward. To say I can make this work. To pray with their husband, with their wives. To forgive them. To show them that grace. Your testimony. It's our testimonies. So share them. I love you all. You have a phenomenal day. And like I said, make sure you love someone back to life today. Love you.